and we hope we can match that one here from the Mile High City. Welcome to Denver, Colorado. The Denver Nuggets, 10 over 500. Been a tough team at home, taking on the 500 Washington Wizards. George Karl's words to his team before the game tonight.
It's time to get after a team early. Get after a team with our defense. Get after a team with our starting the game with it being aggressive. You're too good of a basketball team not to move up a step here in the next couple weeks.
And Hubie Brown, that's the story out west. Everybody's wondering, can we hang with everybody else? These Denver guys going to do it. Washington's a little banged up tonight. No Caron Butler, their all-star.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Washington. They must shoot a high percentage, Mike, get the game into a half court, and then cut down the turnovers because Denver one of the best in the league in the open floor. Straight away to our starting lineups, presented by AT&T, and it misses a few guys, and we'll talk about those as we go forward. It's Antoine Jamison, Brendan Hayward, Andre Blatch in for the injured Caron Butler, Antonio Daniels and Deshaun Stevenson in the backcourt. For the Nuggets, very good at home. 20-6. Carmelo Anthony, the All-Star. Marcus Camby, who has an All-Star caliber season going. Kenyon Martin returning to health. Anthony Carter, the point guard. And Allen Iverson, 21st all-time in NBA history in points scored. Rick Bucher, who joins us on the broadcast as well. We'll be checking in with Rick momentarily. Our officials tonight, Scott Foster, Rodney Mott, and our rookie first-year official, John Goebel. The Nuggets come off the Wednesday overtime loss to Utah, 118-115, a terrific game. Denver is in second place in the Northwest Division, 2 games behind the Jazz. Washington has lost 5 in a row, including an 8-point loss at home to San Antonio. They're on the road out west from now to the All-Star break. Nuggets in the home white, Washington in those very unfortunate gold and black uniforms. Camby stole the tap, and we'll give it one more shot. It belonged to Washington, so the Wizards will start with it. And John Goebel, the rookie official, called it right away. George Karl works him immediately, so the Wizards will start the first and fourth quarter with it. And Antonio Daniels, we'll have to monitor him, and Rick will tell us in a second. He's trying to play through some knee and ankle problems on a team that is thin. Anthony called for the first foul, and Rick, you can update us on some of these injuries.
Yes, I can. The subtext here. Do you have your medical dictionary handy?
Yes.
Because it's going to be important with these teams. Not only do we have a lot of unusual injuries with Nene coming back from cancer surgery and Chucky Atkins from abdominal surgery, Atan Thomas waiting for his sternum to heal because of heart surgery. But we've also got, too, with Allen Iverson dealing with a left wrist. He's had 9 turnovers in the last 2 games as a result of that. And, as you mentioned, Antonio Daniels, who has a left ankle that forced him out of the Utah game late. Those are the 2 to keep an eye on as this game goes on, Mike.
Anthony hits the shot over Andre Blatch. That'll be interesting to watch. Blatch, the youngster, came straight out of high school to the NBA, now in his 3rd year in the league. How he matches up against Carmelo. Blatch, Hubie has done a decent job as a starter here the last 5 games, especially when Caron Butler has been out.
I like his length. Also, he plays with a real intensity, and then he can score the ball, Mike. He can score facing the basket. He's quick off the dribble, and he's a bear at the defensive end. He can block shots. But tonight, he's got a major matchup with Carmelo Anthony.
It's been a tough week for Denver. They had great division games as Iverson gets to the basket and misses. Monday against Portland, they won. Wednesday, they lost back here, as we mentioned, in overtime against Utah. And now they cannot get caught napping against Washington. Here tonight, Blatch to the rack for 2.
Now, he can do that. He can attack the rim, and also he dunks the ball. He has excellent elevation. He can cover ground once he leaves his feet.
Just 21 years old. Anthony Carter runs the point here for the Nuggets in the backcourt with Iverson. Marcus Camby tried to pass and results in a turnover.
Yeah, Denver's a big turnover team. They're 25th in the league. So they play in streaks during the course of the ball game. Sometimes they look like they're sleeping defensively. So when you're on the road, like Washington, just don't settle for the jump shots. Attack the basket. I know Camby's one of the best that we have in the business in shot blocking, but the rest of the people will not challenge you.
Kenyon Martin backing in Antoine Jamison off the mark. So Denver cold here in the early going. And Daniels brings it back for Washington. This is a Wizards team that has a lot of games left out west in this 2008 season. Washington currently sitting in the 6th spot. Nice move by Stevenson. Couldn't finish. Canby was waiting for it, and it'll go back down with the Nuggets and their head coach, George Karl. Only 7 wins from 10th all-time in NBA history, a spot currently held by our ESPN radio colleague, Hall of Famer Dr. Jack Ramsey. 150 wins in the 4 seasons here with Denver, and a lot of them because of that guy. All-star starter Carmelo Anthony in the books for all 4 Denver points.
Now, as we're moving along here, you can see Washington's taking their time. They're trying to maximize the clock. And also here, if you can get AI in that post-up situation, you can't turn the ball over. You got to get a high percentage shot.
Canby Slapboy Anthony has 3 field goals in 3 attempts.
Right now we have bad body motion right by Washington. They need a couple of hoops, get to the basket, either that or make a 3. They're going to move the basketball into Princeton. A lot of weaving, a lot of back cutting.
Eddie Jordan and the Wizards lost their last 5 games. Hey, it's tough when you have 2 all-star caliber performers out. Stevenson contested 3 over Kenyon Martin.
Now Stevenson is one of their best 3-point shooters. But here's the problem.
Travel.
When you score, you've got to pick up and match up quickly with Denver, because they'll get the ball inbounds up the sideline, and they're trying to score within 4 to 6 seconds. So that puts a lot of pressure on your guards to get back quickly.
There you see Eddie Jordan. When we visited with him before the game, he's a little concerned. Yes, his team is in the 6th spot, and there are not many good teams in the East. Jamison misses, Anthony the rebound. But he's worried about all these games they have. They have 11 games to play in the Western Conference over the balance of the season here. And with only 34 left, that's a significant percentage. And 8 of those remaining 11 games are against the good teams out here. Anthony and 1. Carmelo has all of the Nugget points.
And he's making it look very easy. Right? There's no screen. He's not forcing anything. The defenders are on him, but he's creating space. Now you can see right there, they started 0-5, Washington. Then they were playing great basketball, 24-14. Butler and Jamison leading you, getting into the All-Star break. Boom, Butler goes down. Now you're 0-5. You're having trouble scoring the basketball. You're only scoring 86 points a game. But the other side of Butler is he's a tenacious defender on your small forward.
Carmelo 9, Washington 5. Blatch got trapped. Canby knocked it away.
Too casual.
Iverson, Anthony, great comeback block by Blatch. Stays down here with Denver.
Well, young people, when they get out on the road, they have to understand, look, trying to be creative, just make meat and potato passes. Now, right there, this is a good block by Blatch. With Blatch and Brendan Haywood, you have 2 shot blockers out there for Washington.
Iverson behind the back to Carter for 2.
Like the ball movement. Denver, one of the better teams in the league, always in the top 5 in assists. They'll move the basketball, and then they'll make the extra pass.
Averaging 23.5 assists per game. Antoine Jamison, the All-Star, one of the reserves picked by the East coaches. He's 0 for 3. Anthony thought about 3, got a better 2.
It's too easy for him. See, Blatch, he hasn't had to play people who move as well as Anthony. What you're doing is you're asking a kid at 6'11" with limited experience to come in here, start, and then defend and do a good job on the 4th leading scorer in the league.
ESPN's presentation of NBA Friday, brought to you by Verizon Wireless.
Back in Denver, the Nuggets have a pair of all-star starters, and one of them, Carmelo Anthony, off to a great start. 5 of 6 from the field. He has 11 of Denver's 13.
That is a very difficult matchup for Blatch. You can see that quick movement off the dribble and the quick jump stop. Blatch is moving back. Then once he decides I'm going to challenge you, he takes it all the way to the basket. Carmelo is very comfortable. He's not forcing anything. Everything is a high percentage release.
Anthony voted in by the fans as one of the all-star starters, so he and Allen Iverson will be representing the Nuggets next week in New Orleans for the All-Star festivities. No changes to the lineups. 8 to shoot, 4 Blatch. Trapped, so he'll take it and make it. Andre Blatch, who went to high school in Syracuse, New York at Henniger High School, then went to a year of prep school in Connecticut at South Kent's Prep, and was drafted by the Wizards in the middle of the second round of the 05 draft.
Mike, he has a lot of talent. He has a lot of potential. He's long. He can face the basket. The big thing right here is they've got to make a position for him.
And Deshaun Stevenson guarding Anthony that time. Does not matter. Anthony continuing the great start. 6.
His first move, Mike, is so quick that he gets the defender going back, and then he stops on a dime and creates the space.
Brendan Haywood never had that one under control. The rebound for Canby, his 3rd. Blatch gets some help that time. Can't be the lob for Kenyon Martin, who couldn't convert. Such a different Washington team when you take Gilbert Arenas and Caron Butler out of the equation. That was deflected by Denver. It'll stay down here with Washington.
And just watch this, Carmelo. See, once he gets that quick move, and it's a crossover type of a dribble move, when the defender is going back, he creates the space as he steps back, and then he's big and he just shoots over the defender.
Daniels didn't have his normal spring into that shot. You can see he's hampered by the ankle injury.
Washington needs Jamison to get involved in this game and get it going and get on a hot streak.
Blatch rebounds, the Canby miss.
You like to see that Washington, Mike, they get the misses. Fast break. Well, you look out there right now, Daniels got a bad ankle. Stevenson's the only healthy guy. And then you have Blatch at 6'11" as a small forward, so it would only be a one-man break.
Jamison going to the basket, fouled by Kenyon Martin, and Rick has more on Andre Blatch.
Andre Blatch's career started off on the wrong foot when he was shot outside of his house in Alexandria, Virginia as a rookie, and ever since then they've been waiting for him to come together. As Hubie said, a lot of talent there, but the question is, how hard is he willing to work? A lot of comparisons made to Tim Thomas as a guy with just unbelievably raw ability, but some nights he gives it to you and some nights he doesn't, and that's the big question mark in terms of what he ultimately, Mike, is going to be.
And Rick, there you see, when he has started, his attention has been into it, he has been focused, and averaged a double-double at a very good performance against San Antonio on Wednesday night with 16 points and a career-high 15 rebounds. So we'll continue to watch Blatch. They need him here during this stretch with the players out for injury. Jamison splits the pair, and Washington's within 7. Darius Sungaila and Roger Mason have checked in for the Wizards. Their press is broken easily. Can't beat them.
No, that was too easy. You shoot the foul shots, you'll see Washington all night. They'll be in a 2-2-1 press. But when you make the trap, you've got to trap hard. Once they go over the top of the trap, well, now your people in the back, you've got to rotate and take away the lane.
Here's Mason, his 4th year out of Virginia. First pick of the 2nd round of the 02 draft. Missed by Stevenson. Blatch got in the way. Can't be waiting for him. Offensive foul.
Now, see, that's a tough play. You make a great steal, and you attack the basket, and you love to see that in big guys. In the open floor, attack the rim. Now, okay, you didn't get the call that time. You were looking for a three-point play. Unfortunately, you get the offensive foul. But you love the hustle.
Washington goes to Phoenix on Sunday, then Golden State and the Clippers before the All-Star break. Nothing's easy out here in the West. Iverson right past Stevenson with a good slap and ended up knocking it off of AI, so it'll be Washington ball.
Big thing for Washington, just don't lose your confidence here. Try to emphasize in your half-court offset where you can get Jamison involved. Now, I know Canby's guarding him. We know he's a shot blocker, but you've got to go to Jamison and get him going because he can also get to the foul line. He's one of your better guys.
Mason's a good three-point shooter. That one's a little line drive tight. Washington is 3 of 14 from the field in the quarter. And Iverson goes all the way.
Mike, in the early going, Washington defends you for the first 2 dribbles. Then they stop, and Denver continues to go to the basket. Denver is third in the league in points in the paint, and you can see most of it comes on drives by Carmelo Anthony or Allen Iverson.
Oh, shit! Sungaila's off. Blash goes up to get it, and the foul is called.
Now in a transition game, you're going to watch it. As the flow is coming, you're going to see now once he levels off the defense, come on, you cannot give up. What you want to do is force them into the jump shooting game, because at one end, Washington is trying to live with the jump shot, and at the other end, it's too easy for Denver.
Jamison is short and was tipped in. Now if Anthony's hand got on it as he was going up to try to keep Sungaila away from the tip. So Darius will get credit for the hoop. And it's a 9-point game. Liz Clays has checked in for the Nuggets. Nice feed from Iverson to Anthony. And a couple of free throws coming. Hubie, go back to when Iverson was acquired last year, and people wondered, there's only one ball. How are these two guys going to work together? Now that we've seen a year and a half, give me your assessment of how Iverson and Carmelo work together.
Well, they're ranked third. Iverson third in the league in scoring, and Carmelo Anthony fourth. They're both getting about the same amount of shot attempts. You know, you look at it and you say Iverson's getting 19, Anthony's getting 20, so they got to be happy there. And Carmelo Anthony, his points have gone up. He is scoring 3 more points a game since Allen Iverson has joined his team.
And there you see those numbers before Iverson and since. Field goal percentage staying the same. And the important thing is having the other guys willing to do some dirty work and willing to see their shots come down a little bit. And with Camby, Martin, and Anthony Carter now at the point, those guys have accepted their roles.
Absolutely. But the big thing is with the two guys, how many points are they giving up at the other end of the floor when they play the plus 500 teams? That's the big.
What a find by Sungaila, and an even better dunk by Antoine Jamison, who busts into the scoring column from the field.
If Washington will just run the offense, and anytime Camby matches up with Jamison, he is not going to chase him possession after possession in the half-court game.
Stevenson chased Iverson around and left Anthony free for 3. Carmelo Anthony has it stuck on automatic in this first quarter. 7 of 8. 18-point first quarter for Anthony. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. Sungaila no. Camby goes.
Nice.
Martin. And a foul on the body on the way back. And we have a timeout. Well, Antoine Jamison is the biggest highlight moment. Beautiful dunk there, but Carmelo Anthony stealing the show. 18 points in the opening quarter. And his Nuggets doubling up Washington. Mike Tirico, Hubie Brown, Rick Bucher back in Denver. Antoine Jamison and the Wizards down 12. Starting this road trip before the All-Star break and knowing the importance of this one.
Especially on a trip like this, the most important game is the first game. So we know that this team has been playing phenomenally well at home. They had a nice winning streak into the last game. So for us, the mind frame is that this is a very winnable game. And if we do the things that we need to do properly as far as defensively, defend Allen and definitely Carmelo, don't get out-rebounded and limit their transition points, we will put ourselves in a great position to win.
Well, right now they're not defending Carmelo Anthony. It's part of the struggle. You'll see Washington go to Phoenix, part of our Super Sunday of NBA games on ABC and ESPN. We'll tell you about those in a bit. Then to Golden State, wrapping up at the Clippers before the All-Star break. And Hubie, you said it right away. You've got the 2 All-Stars down. I say Arenas an All-Star from past years, and this year's All-Star in Butler. And right away you said you didn't like the body language of the Wizards in the early going. It's an important night to set a tone, whether you win or lose, because these games are going to be very difficult.
Yeah, it's you look around and you say, hey, where are our guys? when you're a player. But the big thing is Denver is dynamite in this building, and you've got to take away their strengths, just like Jameson said in his interview. Unfortunately, they already have 4 turnovers, and you have, we like that.
I'm sure the rookie Nick Young called glass.
That's okay. Just keep shooting them and keep banking them in, because we'll take them any way you can get them here tonight.
Nick Young, the rookie out of Southern California. Antoine Jameson was very high on his abilities as we visited earlier. Marcus Camby turns it over. A travel.
Now, this young guy has some talent. He can score the basketball. The big thing with him is he's got to learn to stay within what the rest of the players are running when they run the Princeton offense, because everything is geared to where the passes go and where you must cut. Everything is by design.
Jameson struggling. Yes, he is now 1 of 6 from the field.
Yeah. He's rushing. I don't know why he's rushing, Mike, because if he just take his time tonight, he'll get high percentage shots.
Anthony again. Carmelo Anthony, a 20-point first quarter. In case you're wondering, the Nuggets record for most points in one quarter is 32. David Thompson did it in Detroit in April of 1978. Songaila rattles that one down. But there haven't been made 20. Well, I shouldn't say that. There probably have been a bunch of 20-point quarters in Nuggets history.
Yes, I would think so. Come on,
David Thompson.
Come on, Alex Davis, Dan Issel, George McGinn. I mean, we go through a lot of guys here, okay?
Of all franchises, this is the one that would have probably about as many as any. You see the basket there to make it 30-16, and maybe you saw the score go by as Iverson was knocking down that field goal. Utah is trailing in Sacramento tonight. Important game for Denver as Songaila rimmed it out. Blatch couldn't get the rebound.
Yeah, that ball was off Anthony's head.
Thought so.
Yeah, and Blatch is absolutely right. As that came down right off the head of Anthony out of bounds. You know, you talk about this franchise. We know Carmelo Anthony's averaging 25 points a game. If he accomplishes that at the end of 82, he will have done it 3 years in a row. Alex English averaged over 25 a game. He only did it 8 straight years. That's all. So we're talking about some guys here who could score the basketball. Never mind David Thompson. I thought maybe you were going to say that. David is still up there dunking.
Clay's on the toe in the tape. Eduardo Navarro on the rebound. Mason knocks it away. And the quarter comes to an end. Carmelo Anthony, 8 of 9 from the field. He had 20 of the 30 for Denver in the opening quarter. After one. And we'll hear from Eddie Jordan about his Wizards trailing by 14. Tonight's broadcast, Wizards and Nuggets from Denver, available in high definition on ESPN HD, presented by Olivia. Through one quarter in the Mile High City, Denver 30, Washington 16. And here's Rick Bucher with the Wizards head coach, Eddie Jordan. Rick.
They're shooting about 70%. You're shooting about 30%. Which side concerns you most?
Well, we've got to have balance. I just thought we didn't have a flow offensively. Defensively, we're allowing them to drive on us. Carmelo's got it going. His pull-ups, you got to live with those as long as they're contested. But certainly, we can't give them transition baskets, and we got to do a better job on the drives.
All right, and what's the key to slowing down Melo?
Well, we're trying to run a guy at him nice and slow and take the ball out of his hands. Outside of that, if Allen is drawing and kicking and he's shooting threes and shooting off of dribble, that's pretty tough to guard.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Carmelo on the bench here to start the second quarter after going 8 of 9 in the opening 12.
Yeah, and he's right on the money about Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson has 5 assists. He can beat anyone off the dribble, and we know that Daniels has a bad ankle. Now, when they come at you and they double team, then what happens is Denver is beating you in the rotation.
Dominic McGuire has checked in for the Wizards. And from the top, Anthony Carter able to knock that down. Carter in his 9th year now out of Hawaii. Very circuitous route. Not just to Hawaii for his 2 years, but also to the NBA through the CBA and the summer leagues as well. Mason missed it. It's out of bounds off Denver. Andre Blatch, Dominic McGuire, Roger Mason, Nick Young, and Darius Songaila are the 5 on the floor for the Wizards. I'm going to guess this is the network TV debut for this 5-star. Young the miss, Carter the rebound. Anthony going baseline. We mentioned Carmelo's 22 and brought up David Thompson's 32-point quarter, which maybe was the most points in a quarter in franchise history for the Nuggets. It actually was the second most points, that 32, in one quarter in NBA history. That one's kicked out of bounds. Hey, Rick Bucher, is there an injury update over there on the Washington side?
There is indeed. While I was doing our coach's interview, I looked over at the bench, and Antonio Daniels gave me the signal that he's done. The left ankle simply is not going to go. Had a chance to talk to him a little bit before the game and asked him how it was, and he did not look very optimistic at that time. And quite clearly, you saw him through the opening minutes. He was laboring just to get up and down the court, Mike.
7 minutes, only took one field goal attempt. So add to the Wizards' woes one more injury. Arenas, Daniels, Butler not available, Atan Thomas as well. So a lot of the kids will get an opportunity here tonight. And the shot knocked down by Nick Young for the second time here tonight.
Now this is a building where you cannot come in and say we're going to match you basket for basket, because Denver is going to beat you in that category. They're fourth in the league. They average 106.5 points a game, and they're one of the best, if we said earlier, out in the open floor, because they continue to beat you in the transition game.
Foul on the Wizards, and we'll get free throws for Eduardo Nahara. Just to finish the thought before we went over to Rick, David Thompson had that 32-point first quarter back in 1978. Well, on the very same night, Hubie, April 9th, 1978, George Gervin had 33 points for San Antonio in New Orleans. I wonder if that was the night they were going back and forth for the scoring title. I'm sure it was, at the last game of the regular season.
Now, we're talking about two of the greatest scorers ever to play the game. When Gervin broke in, he was a small forward, and then they moved him to the two-guard position with the San Antonio Spurs. And then David Thompson, one of the greatest leapers of college basketball, pro basketball, small forward, 6'4.5", 6'5", a real highlight film. Started in 3 All-Star games.
Songaila able to knock it down. Alexei Pesharov has checked in. The rookie first-round pick out of Russia, number 14 for the Wizards. What a lob! Canby to Anthony, who continues this great quarter. 24 for Carmelo on 10 of 11 shooting.
Well, you just like the fact that the team is smart enough to keep milking the guy that's hot and, you know, create off it and then let him find the open areas.
Songaila is going to have to give Washington some offense. Has already given them 8 points. Kleza takes it right at Darius, who got in the way. Those two guys know each other very well. Both members of the Lithuanian national team. That is the game for Pesharov, the threes. He's short on that one. And it's rebounded by the Nuggets. Denver leading by 15, trying to get its 30th win of the season. That's ridiculous. Well, Carmelo's 11 of 12, 26 points.
Mike, he just stared the defender down. He stared him down, then he gave him the quick move, the wiggle move, and then elevated, and there was a distance of about 4 feet between the defender and the release of that shot. He's just putting on a basketball offensive clinic here. How about that quick move?
26 points in less than 15 minutes.
Mark Jones with his Taco Bell studio update. A game earlier on ESPN tonight. The T-Wolves and Celtics. Jaric from Minnesota missing the 3 with a tie game. Smith to the wrong guy. Ray Allen takes it all the way to the cup. Assaulted, bludgeoned, no foul called. Leon Poe never gave up on the play. Celtics win it by a deuce at the buzzer. They're now 4-2 without KG. Back to you, Mike.
Great finish, Mark. Thank you. We'll see you and Stephen A. and Bill coming up at halftime. They found a way to stop Carmelo Anthony for the moment. Put him on the bench here for a few. Carmelo, 11 of 12 from the field, 26 points here in the first 15 minutes of this one, outscoring the Wizards by 4 and helping Denver, Hubie Brown, to this 17-point second quarter lead.
The fact about all this is how easily he's doing it, Mike. And not only that, it's just the rest of the players are just beating the defenders off the dribble, getting past them, causing rotations, quick pass out. Carmelo's in a one-on-one situation, and there's very few guys in this league who can play him one-on-one facing, because he's so dynamite with his quick moves. He'll always get off a high percentage shot.
Kleza pitches out to Carter. J.R. Smith came in for Carmelo Anthony. 7 to shoot. will be Carter. He's safe for three. It's short. And the rebound for Pesherov.
All right, now Washington's got to make a move now. They've got to say, okay, we got all young kids on now, but right now we have some major subs out on the floor. Now, I know they have Camby in there and also Carter, but we can get to the basket and let's... He stepped out of
the sideline. Nick Young, the rookie out of USC, put it on the baseline, I should say. So it's Denver ball as Washington turns it over. 5 turnovers for the Wizards, 6 for the Nuggets, and here's Kleza right away. You talk about this team in this building. They shoot so well. They're such a solid group. 20-6 here at the Pepsi Center this year.
Well, they're trying to improve their record here, and they know that at playoff time it's so important that they have a comfort zone. Last year, they lost 18 games in this building.
Young is off. Pesherov and Songaila couldn't keep it alive. Carter, Clayson was setting a screen for him to get to the basket, but Carter couldn't save it.
See what's happening time and time again. Only one defender is back.
This is tough for Washington here. They're running 3 rookies out here right now. Pesherov, McGuire, and Young. And it's not like Mason and Songaila are the most experienced guys. But see, Pesherov misses. Songaila gets the rebound, gets to double digits, and gets a chance for a 3-point play.
Now, Songaila, we all know, is not a rookie, right? He's been around a long time. But he is one with common sense here. He's staying within his game. You're going to watch him crash the offensive boards right now, and he gets his 5th field goal in a short period of time. He hasn't even played 10 minutes, and he's doing, and making a contribution. But when you're trying to play without an established playmaker to keep you within your offensive movement, it makes it difficult for a young club when you're on the road.
Songaila's season high is 13 points. He had his good years, his first couple of years in Sacramento. That was with Chicago in 06. Missed the first half of last season with a herniated disc. Go back to that Chicago time, he had the injury to his foot. Missed a quarter at the end of the season. So when healthy, he's been effective during his career. Eduardo Nahara missed, and Pesherov gets the rebound.
Well, just say to yourself right now, look, we're down. We're down big right now. All right, down 16. Let's try to get it down to 10 at halftime. That's not asking a lot.
And that's a guy who's going to have to do a lot of it. Antoine Jameson, the All-Stars, 1 of 7. Kleza.
If you take a 3-point shot, Mike, you cannot crash the offensive board. Because if you miss, your man is going long. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as Kleza challenged, he was gone to the other end of the floor. We're seeing that time and time again in this half.
Mason short on the 3. Washington's 1 of 10 from behind the long line. Oh, what a pass by Iverson! And Smith finished it! Put that on the highlight reel. Even AI liked it.
A lot of pressure on Smith to finish that, Mike. Come on now. I mean, just watch as he comes down in here. He has to stretch, all right, to get out. Look at this. He has to stretch to come up underneath that rim to put it off the glass. Nice pass by AI.
That was a high degree of difficulty behind the back pass. He was moving. He had to get it around Mason.
Well, he's having an outstanding half with assists.
Knocked down by Smith. Did you like that 6th assist of the night from Iverson? 46-25. George Karl talks about a great night as a team having 30 assists as Deshaun Stevenson hits the 3. That's lofty stuff, thinking about 30 assists tonight. They're halfway there already.
Yeah, well, we know that if you get 30, you're usually going to pick it up in a blowout. And anytime that happens, you like it because your guys are sharing the basketball, because it's a fun time for them.
Nahara got trapped. Stevenson hit the last 3. Looking for the foul call on Kleza. He will not get it, and we will get a timeout. The Washington Wizards starting a 4-game West Coast trip, not exactly the way they want to. They see Carmelo Anthony eat them alive for 26 points in the early going, and then when he goes to the bench, Allen Iverson lights him up with a little highlight film stuff. All Denver up 18.
ESPN's presentation of NBA Friday, brought to you by Jockey. Visit us online at jockey.com. And the new all Jeep Liberty.
Inside that Denver Nuggets locker room, a A group that looks to move to 11 above 500 and keep pace in the just ridiculous Western Conference. Now, you've got to have every night out there where you try to get something done. Already, San Antonio and the Lakers have improved their win totals to 32. Denver's trying to become the 7th West team to hit the 30-win mark, and they're on top of UB by 18.
If we were to start the playoffs today, two teams that would not be in, and that would be Houston 29 and 20, Portland 28 and 20. Wait, 28 and 21. They would both be in the 4th position in the East. And I'm going to give you another one. Sacramento is 22 and 25. And if they started the playoffs today, they would be in the 7th spot. No one even talks about Sacramento, all right, in the West. I mean, they're like, who's Sacramento? But we all know that Sacramento's playing good basketball, Mike.
That's right. They're playing Utah at home right now, and they're ahead of the Jazz at last look. Mark and the guys will have all that for us coming up at halftime. Martin to the basket. Kenyon missed it. Rebounded by Andre Blatch, who works with Roger Mason. Brendan Haywood, who's done nothing so far tonight. Deshaun Stevenson. And Antoine Jamison, the 5 on the floor for the very thin Washington Wizards.
Yeah, see, they keep running a double team at him. They're trying to make it difficult for him to get off a high percentage shot. But, hey, he's 1 for 7, Mike. But this is the kind of game where he can't, he's just got to be selfish and try to carry these young kids.
Nice finish by Stevenson. Deshaun has 8 points, Songaila 11. Those two have about 2/3 of the Washington total. Lennis Kleza off on his 3. He has really developed into a good perimeter player and a fine compliment for George Karl's team.
I like his game, Mike. He's a tough guy. He can make the 3-point shot. He drives the basket. He's extremely strong. There you go. You say, well, that was a lucky shot. No, that's Jamison's spot.
Yes.
When he gets on that spot, it looks like a shot put, but he makes it.
The Denver lead 14. It's been as large as 21. Washington's never led. We have a defensive 3 seconds here, so there'll be a technical and a free throw coming. And Carmelo Anthony will return to the fray. Now you see his career high in a half is 29. Iverson misses the tee.
Checking back into the game. 25, Anthony Carmelo.
So Anthony sat for 4.5 minutes. And returns. A lot of the guarding of Anthony has been falling to Andre Blatch, starting for Caron Butler. Blatch, as I mentioned, went to high school in Syracuse, New York, at Henniger High School, and was a junior the year that Carmelo played at Syracuse and led the Orange to the national championship. Anthony right back in it. Missed the 3 and the rebound.
Now, that's the first time, Mike, we've seen a hard trap. As soon as he caught the ball, he ran 2 guys at him.
Right.
And that's what you have to do. Look, just get him cold for about 4 to 5 minutes. That's right, 4 to 5 minute stretch.
And Jamison now maybe finding his with back-to-back shots. Washington trying to chip away, and I know my guy's going to say 10 or 8 points at half, and you're fine.
That's exactly right. He got it down to 12 right now. Why? Because now Denver's going into their 5. Denver already has 9 turnovers. We said they're a big turnover team. They play in streaks. So right now, it's not insurmountable. The big thing is just stay with your business.
And still take smart shots. Kenyon Martin, a running hook from the side, didn't fall. And it could be 10 or 9. Nick Young, the rookie, makes it 10.
Hello. You're coaching this team. You have seen this happen so many times, okay, Mike? I mean, you're Denver. You have seen this throughout this entire season. You're up big, yeah, all of a sudden, you're in a close game. You're down big, you come running back.
The 11-0 run comes to an end as Iverson gets the bang in the bucket. Chance for the 3-point play.
AI biding his time here tonight. He has just stayed within the flow of the game. Has not forced anything. He's been totally unselfish. He's been penetrating, giving up. He could have forced a lot of shots here tonight, but he kept getting the basketball to Carmelo Anthony and kept him really rolling.
Reminder tomorrow on NBA TV, it's Chicago and Utah. Big day Sunday, ABC, San Antonio, Boston, Lakers, Miami. And then we've got an ESPN doubleheader we'll tell you about in a minute. And on TNT, the night before the All-Star game, as Jamison knocks down another one. Miami's in Chicago, followed by Dallas in Phoenix. It's 11, and Anthony gets back in the column. 28 now for Carmelo in the half.
At the other end, right, Denver was in a zone on that last possession, a 2-3 zone. Or they're going to be switching because they have two small guards in here. They have, Iverson playing with Carter, and they just said, let's give him a different look. Let's switch a little bit, make it look like we're playing zone. See how it goes.
We'll see if Melo can get to 30 before the break. Timeout with 2.5 to go, and the Denver lead is 13. The all-star duo of AI and Carmelo. Allen Iverson's wearing a microphone. Here's some of his first half thoughts.
Hit that head. Watch your head. Oh! Good job, AC. Oh, yeah! Man, you missed yet? I see 60.
Telling Carmelo Anthony he sees 60 in his future here tonight. It's almost halfway there with 28 points. Carmelo, who is from the Baltimore area, just down the road, or up the road, I should say, from Washington, D.C. Big Baltimore Ravens and Baltimore Orioles fan, growing up in Baltimore. 11 to shoot. Iverson, beautiful find of Camby. What a complete half Allen Iverson is having. Chris Bucher was talking about this when we visited with George Carl this morning. Go back to Iverson's times with the USA national team and his ability to share the ball. It's certainly in his arsenal. Hayward high off the glass for two.
Well, I think that you can see he's in a fun attitude tonight. He's right there. He's making the extra play. He's looking for a guy who's really on fire. And you like the distribution. Everybody's having fun out here, and they're making extra pass.
18 assists on the 23 Denver field goals tonight. That one from Marcus Camby, who has 5. 7 boards, 5 assists, 2 points for Camby. As he'll pick up that foul on the drive by Brendan Haywood, who's been having his best season thus far.
Well, he's getting more minutes. He's playing with a lot more confidence. He's averaging over 10 a game. He's shooting a very solid percentage. The rebounding and shot blocking is there. But tonight, he's almost invisible. The key for him is to never let a shot blocker get the best of you. Always take the ball into the shot blocker's chest, or at least challenge him. You cannot just settle or stay non-committal to the offensive end of the floor, because you can make something happen here. Make Camby guard you.
3-point play makes it 12, and we have defensive 3 seconds again on Washington. And so the free throw is coming for Denver, and Anthony will take it. Try to get to 29 points. We have Toyota at the half coming up with Mark Jones, Bill, and Stephen Aben back in the studio all night. Jazz, we'll find out what's going on with Utah this evening. The fantastic finish in the first end of our doubleheader, and Bill Walton's, I think it's Bill Walton's three-pointers, or perhaps could it be his son, Luke? We'll find out. We'll see Luke on Sunday on the second end of our ABC doubleheader at San Antonio, Boston to start. Then we'll be in Miami to see the Lakers and the new look Heat. The Sean Marion debut. Anthony Long, Latch gets the rebound.
Well, for Miami on Sunday, Mike, not only do we have Sean Marion and then Banks at the guard position, but the big thing is I'd like to hope that Haslam is over his injury, so that we'll get a little look at Miami and see if they can be an exciting team in the second half of the season.
The explosiveness of Nick Young. It is 11 here with 47, stopping a score, and the score would look a heck of a lot better than the half did for the Wizards.
Yeah, I mean, they're making it interesting right now, and they're making it easy at the offense. Unfortunately for them, they cannot stop the onslaught from the foul line down that Denver is doing, whether lob passes or off the dribble or taking it real strong and hitting the medium jump shot.
Anthony Carter calls for the foul. It's his first, 5th on the team here in this entire half. Denver has not committed many fouls. So here's the menu on Sunday, starting with the countdown show at 12:30 Eastern time, then Spurs Celtics, Lakers Heat on ABC, and then 6:30 Eastern on ESPN. It's NBA shoot-around. You'll see the Nuggets go to Cleveland. That's Carmelo against LeBron, Nuggets and Cavaliers, and then the Wizards will head to Phoenix to take on the Suns, the team currently sitting with the best record in the West. 4 great game. So Super Bowl Sunday's come and gone. It's life after the NFL for many of you. And we had a great day and night of the NBA on ABC and ESPN.
For all you people who love to watch Cleveland, LeBron James is putting on some show here in the first half of the season. Absolutely spectacular. 30 to him is just a normal night. 38 rebounds, 7 assists.
Hey, got a chance here. He's getting number 10. Stevenson got fouled. Got fouled by Carter.
Right.
So we'll get free throws with 1.6 to go. We could be looking at an 8-point game.
See, this is what drives coaches crazy. Absolutely crazy. Because you're at home. The players are in a comfort level. They're playing loosey-goosey. They're saying, well, look, it's so easy. We're getting to the basket. We're shooting a high percentage. Yeah, but you're turning the ball over 10 times. So how about the fact that we, tighten that up a little bit? Yeah, but don't worry. We're going to pour it on and get them in the second half. And then what you do is you keep a young team around. Now, we know that for Washington to get it done, they still have to do what we said. Come out in the second half, shoot a high percentage, and cut down on your turnovers.
Camby gets the rebound, and that will bring the first half to an end. Marcus's 9th rebound. 21-point lead for Denver in the second quarter. Washington cuts it to 9. Carmelo Anthony, one of the best halves he's had in his NBA career. 29 points. And he is standing by with Rick Bucher. Rick.
All right, I'm here with Carmelo Anthony, 29 points in the first half. I could have sworn that in the locker room beforehand, I saw you with a big wrap on your shoulder. What was that about?
My shoulder been hurting me for a long time. I got some good treatment. I came out today and I was feeling good about it.
All right, what was so different about what you were feeling tonight?
Well, they was playing me one-on-one. My assistant coach, John West, told me no one man in this league can guard me, and I took advantage of that.
All right, and what do you guys have to do to sort of sustain this in the second half now?
Defense. We can score all night, but we don't stop nobody, we ain't going to win nothing.
All right, thank you, Carmelo. 12 of 15, 29 points, ties his career high for a half, Mike.
Thank you, Rick. If they're guarding me one-on-one, Hubie, I mean, it should be that easy for every guy in the league, right?
Yeah, but they're great scorers. That's how they feel. They just feel, you can't play me one-on-one. You're trying to embarrass me.
There you see the Toyota halftime show, and we're told it's Bill Walton's three-pointers. We'll find out what Bill and Mark Jones have for you in the studio. All the highlights, all the scores. Every game is so important, especially in the Western Conference of the NBA, with things so tight. It's going to be a great last couple of months of the season. The guys will have you covered. With the Toyota halftime show coming up, Carmelo had 29, more than half of the Denver 56. The Nugget lead is 9 at the half. The Denver Nuggets care about the community. Kenyon Martin, Anthony Carter, George Carr recently visited this place. It's the new Children's Hospital in Aurora, Colorado. They spent the afternoon visiting with patients and their families while posing for pictures and signing autographs. Nuggets, a very popular group here in this Denver area and continuing that great tradition. The NBA, where caring happens. We're getting set for the second half here at the Pepsi Center. Right off of lower downtown Denver, Colorado. It has been a first half dominated by the Nuggets and Carmelo Anthony, but it's only 56-47 as we get ready for the third quarter. Mike Tirico, Hubie Brown, Rick Bucher coming along here in a little bit. It says a lot for Washington. No Karam Butler here tonight. Gilbert Arenas and Etan Thomas have been missing for a while. And Antonio Daniels goes down. They go down 21. Carmelo Anthony controls it, yet they find a way to get back in and make this a game.
Yeah, I like their attitude, all right, because they're not giving up. The main thing is that second group came in, attacked the basket, made an awful lot of good things happen, played halfway decent defense.
Let's check our Jeep storyline from the first 24 minutes, and it is all the performance by Carmelo Anthony.
Now, this is just, he's playing by himself. He's 12 for 15 from the floor. Now, he gets them out on the fast break and then also in the half-court sets. Like he said at halftime, no guy can play me one-on-one here tonight. I will just take you one-on-one, give you the quick jab step. You play me tight, I'm going to blow by and lay it up at the other end. If you play zone, I'll backdoor you on the back cuts on the baseline. He has been really a difficult cover here this evening, but I like what he said at halftime, and that is, if we don't defend, we're going to be in trouble. And I think you can see the points right there. The points are there, the shooting percentage, and then what the rest of the team. But the rest of the team has stepped aside and have been feeding him and giving him an opportunity to get a ton of shots off.
Our third quarter begins with a foul on the outside. on Washington, and let's spend a moment with Rick Bucher. Rick?
All right, well, offensively, Eddie Jordan felt the reason they got clicking is because they went away from their specific roots and they sort of played freelance. And defensively, he said, we've just got to do a better job of getting back. We think we're back. We're only halfway back, and the ball's going over our head. As for Carmelo Anthony, he said, you know what? We've been trying to double team him since the beginning of the game. The double team is just coming so late, he may not have noticed. So obviously, Mike, they've got to do a better job on that front.
Not only he didn't notice, but neither has anyone else in this building. Right? We've only seen one good double team. But the fast break game, that's definitely a concern. It's 13-1 in favor of Denver.
Kenyon Martin picked up that foul. Brendan Haywood picked up the first foul for Washington. QB Marty Aronoff, who does stats with us for all of our games, works a lot of the Wizards games as well back in his hometown of Washington, D.C. Stevenson takes it and misses. Good rebound by Haywood. And the guy down by Blanche gets the hoop, and we're right back to a 7-point game here. Marty pointed out to me that Washington has one fast break point here tonight. Kenyon Martin, the dunk from Iverson. They had 0 fast break points against San Antonio in their last game on Wednesday. So they've gone 6 quarters and just had 1 total fast break point.
Yeah, but your point guard's been injured.
Right,
See,
that's the point.
Antonio Daniels out there trying to suck it up for the team and everything, but he just can't go, and he can't force the issue. Stevenson is not a great ball handler unless he has a clear path to the basket. But my big thing here now is with Denver. We can see their problem, Mike. And the coaching staff only rotated 8 guys in that first half. As big as that lead was. Why? They are 10-14 against the plus 500 teams. Now in the West, that is an alarming stat. You have to pay attention to that. And that's why George is so concerned about only playing 8 guys, because every game is big now. They're not waiting until March 1st. They know they got to get it going now.
That was just not a good shot by Kenyon Martin, but the ricochet, I wouldn't call it a rebound, came back out. Anthony misses, Camby misses. Jamison, who hit the 3 a moment ago, they can get it down to 3 or 4 here on this trip. Lead was once 21 for Denver. Jamison's got Carter into Haywood on Anthony.
Nice.
And it's a 4-point game.
All it is seeing the mismatches. And if you do your movement and you run those people into the post areas and you have that mismatch, feed the guy and stop all of these long shots. At halftime, they're 2 for 13 in threes. You're doing all your damage when you're attacking the rim.
Camby the hoop makes it a 6-point game. Marcus has 4 points and 11 boards. Haywood goes to that hook, and Blacks comes in to get the rebound. Anthony never had a body on him.
I'm upset if I'm George Karl. I got Mo over there and their staff, because everything now is becoming easy. We're not paying attention at all.
Martin twirls for 2. And Hubie, you made the point about only 8 in the rotation and what Denver has done against the teams with better than 500 records this year. George said this is a little early for him to turn up the playoff-type intensity. That run usually starts 3.5 weeks from now, a month from now. But it's time here in the West. You can't afford to have one of those stretches. Out of bounds, touched by Anthony, 1 second on the shot clock.
Well, that's what we said. When you say that Houston and Portland, with 28 and 29 wins, are out of the playoffs as of today, hey, that should put the light bulb on every single person in this organization.
1 to shoot. Haywood couldn't catch. Carter has no numbers. Anthony Carter running the point to Martin behind the back Camby.
First of all, that was a nice look by Anthony Carter, because he could have taken one-on-one to the basket. Nice pass behind the back by Martin, but I like the way Camby finished. Camby finished with a strong dunk, and I like this timeout. Do not let the game get away from you.
Washington down 8.
ESPN's presentation of NBA Friday, brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And Gone Baby Gone. Own it on DVD and Blu-ray high def February 12th.
Back here in Denver, the Nuggets lead is 8. We were talking about the seismic news items here. The Pau Gasol move to LA, the Shaquille O'Neal trade to Phoenix. Here are the standings up to date in the West as they sit 1 through 8. There you see Denver in that 7th spot, but that's only 1 game in. And so you cannot afford to have, as we said, a 4-game losing streak, especially with so many of these teams playing each other along the way. Just look at some of those delicious things, like New Orleans, San Antonio could play in the first round. Dallas could play Denver. I know we're a ways away, but from now until the end of the season, these last 2 months out here in the West are going to be night in, night out, just a treat for basketball fans.
A ton of pressure on coaching staffs, and then a ton of pressure on the key players, the all-NBA players, to lead their teams every night.
Like that guy, Anthony, with the take, he is 31.
And I liked his attitude at halftime when he was interviewed by Rick, and by saying that, we can score on these guys anytime. Our thing is we got to defend. And that has been their problem since day one here. Can they defend and pay attention for 48 minutes, night in and night out?
Jamison going back to that spot where he loves. He's got 3 of those shovel shots in the short corner and 14 tonight.
You have to admit that is a difficult shot. Oh, yeah. Okay? And he makes it look so easy. It's impossible to block.
Jamison has made his last 5. See how they examine the Wizard zone. The double comes to Anthony. Martin brought it down to the little guys. Iverson got trapped. Bailed himself out. Exactly the way it's drawn up.
Yeah, that's difficult when you're a defensive team. You guard them for 23 seconds, and then with 1 second on the clock, AI outruns your guys for the loose ball. Now, he's having an excellent game. He has 9 assists in this game, and then also Camby has 11 rebounds and 5 assists.
AI! He is the biggest little man in the NBA.
Well, he's saying right now, I think it might be my time to do a little showtime.
Here come my 12 points, by the way.
Right.
This was the bailout.
Yeah, you can see, but he runs it down. See, he understands the shot clock. That's the one thing about his game. He's constantly in control. He understands the clock as he's making these strong moves down into the painted area.
Our friends watching in the D.C. area saw this. It's hard to believe it's a dozen years now in the league after his couple of seasons at Georgetown. And Hubie is looking at the league stats, career stats this afternoon. Allen Iverson is knocking on the door of the top 20 all-time points scored in the NBA. I mean, for a guy who's barely scraping 6 feet, what a tough guy the way he's done it. Stevenson couldn't pick it up. Shot clock violation.
Staying right along with that, Mike. In the last 6 years, count this season, you can see right there where he ranks in the scoring. But also, when you look at him, you know he's not 6'1", and you know he's about 160, 170 pounds max.
Yep.
All right. He's 5th in all time getting to the line at 9.3 foul shots a game. That is incredible when you think about that, because he's behind Wilt, Bob Pettit, all right, and then Jerry West, and there's one other guy, Shaq. So now when you consider this is incredible. Then when you look at his minutes in the last 6 seasons, he's either first or second in minutes because he plays 42 or 43 minutes every night. Amazing. An amazing athlete.
Kenyon Martin with the hoop. The lead quickly, very quickly, from 4 back up to 15. Iverson is again leading the league in minutes with 41. A 13-2 run is stopped for the moment by Stevenson.
This is a game where the Washington coaching staff has got to look at this, Mike, and say, you know what, we're not going to get any bonuses if we save our timeouts. Okay? Yeah. So call the timeouts and use the timeouts, and don't be worrying, and use the 20 seconds. Don't be worrying about whether you have anything left in the 4th quarter. Every time you make a little quick run on you, call the timeout, stop it, try to, upset them a little bit and get them out of the tempo.
Martin with the foul as he got in the way of Stevenson. Iverson's grabbing at his left wrist out by midcourt. Rick Bucher telling us earlier that Iverson was being bothered by that wrist. Stevenson at the line, straight out of high school, 8th year in the league. Washington Union High School in California. One more coming. NBA TV tomorrow has Chicago at Utah, 9 Eastern time. Our ABC Sunday doubleheader. Coverage starts 12:30. San Antonio, Boston tips at 1. We'll be in Miami to see Kobe and the Lakers. They won again tonight, 3:30 Eastern. And before the All-Star game, TNT's doubleheader is Miami at Chicago and Dallas at Phoenix. For as bad as things have been for the Chicago Bulls, they're a half game out of the last playoff spot for the Eastern Conference.
I mean, think about it. I mean, that's absolutely an amazing stuff. And here they are. They're out on that trip. They're playing without 3 of their guys, and they go in and they knock out Golden State.
Yeah, nice win last night.
What a great win for the team and for the coaching staff.
Oh, Anthony, baseline, 14 of 18 from the field. He has 33, 51 by Iverson and by LeBron. Those are the best individual point totals in the NBA this season. Nick Young, the rookie out of USC, missed. Camby, the rebound for the 12th time tonight.
Marcus Camby very quietly is just going along and picking up all the boards, and it'll be interesting to see if he can get 20 boards again tonight.
Oh, beautiful find by Anthony. The double came over the top to Kmart.
Now that's at least the 5th dunk, 4th or 5th, lob pass dunk, where there's no one even contending defensively against the guy going for the dunk. And it's just amazing. How can you lose your people and they'd be so far away in your defensive rotation?
Denver has 24 assists. Camby has a great knack for just going to get the ball. That was his 13th rebound.
Nice.
Another great find by Anthony. Martin got trapped where he was. And back come the Wizards. Remember, no point guard. Daniels out. They've looked sloppy at times. Iverson, Carter, Anthony. 15 of 19. 35 points. And Washington will take a timeout. This baby's back up to 17 after getting it down to 4. Carmelo Anthony having one of the best nights of his NBA career. 10 off his career high. It's a 20-second timeout taken by the Wizards. Throwing it down and setting up the throwdowns. About as good a night as Carmelo's ever had in the NBA. Our NBA Friday presentation from Colorado is available in high definition on ESPN HD, presented by Olivia. Mike Tirico, Hubie Brown, Rick Bucher. Buch was very busy this week with all the trade stuff with Gasol to the Lakers, and then the Shaq thing that happened and just got done so quick. Coach, you were on my radio show on, I guess it was Wednesday, and you gave the folks a great breakdown. Give them a little synopsis of what you said. How do you think Shaq will be assimilated into what Phoenix does offensively?
Well, I don't think there's not going to be a problem with Shaq rebounding, kicking the ball out, allowing them to get in their fast break game. Where it's going to affect them is once you stop the fast break game and they go into the half-court set, Shaq is on one box, Stoudemire's on the other, or he's up at the foul line area. That eliminates all of that cute quickness that we see now. You shoot and score, you shoot and miss. Phoenix runs, they put 2 guys in the corners, and then they play 3-man basketball in the middle of the floor with Marion, Stoudemire, and Nash. Well, now that the area is going to be crowded because Shaq takes up a lot of space. Shaq will definitely need double coverage once you get into the half-court game. Now, what's the big if? The big if is he going to be healthy enough to play 25 to 28 minutes? That's the key. Then, when we get to playoff time, will Stoudemire, defensively at power forward, in the second round of the playoffs, be able to guard the Gasols, the Nowitzkis, the Okurs, the people that are going to play away from the basket, stretch the defense, etc. That's what they're going to have to. We call that chemistry. Now, what are you going to miss? Marion's fast breaking, scoring in the open floor, and then also an outstanding three-point shooter, and he covers every stat.
Iverson now 6 of 7, 14 points, 10 assists for Allen Iverson, and we'll see Marion in the new-look Miami Heat on Sunday. Songaila, nice inside pass. Andre Blanche has hit 5 of his 6 field goals. He is one of 4 Wizards in double figures with 10. Again, this is a Washington team that lost Antonio Daniels, who couldn't go past the first quarter tonight with his ankle injury. Caron Butler is out of the lineup tonight with a left hip flexor. It'll be Denver ball after the timeout. Add that to the absences of Gilbert Arenas and Atan Thomas. Short-handed against a team that's good at home and its stars are playing well. All adds up to Denver plus 17. Couldn't go after the first quarter. What's the update on Arenas coming off his knee problems? Well, he's standing by with Rick Bucher. Rick?
Yes, I'm here with Gilbert Arenas, enjoying the crowd. You were getting treatment during the first half. What exactly were they doing to you back in the locker room?
Actually, I'm trying to get in shape now, so I was running the treadmill and, walking the treadmill, riding the bike.
What else are you able to do on that knee at this stage?
I just got cleared to run, so now we're just trying to get back in shape, and this trip, just started playing basketball on the court.
Okay, now as a gym rat who is not allowed in the gym that much, and being a guy with varied interests, what have you been doing lately with your time?
Just watching a lot of basketball, just trying to understand the game. Especially, each year you want to get better at something. Now it's the mind game. I know where I mess up, during the game. I speed the game up, and, now I need to start slowing it down.
Right, and when you see this team playing without you, what do you expect to be able to do once you get back?
Just bring confidence, bring energy, bring that swagger that we had last year when we was the #1 team. Right now they're playing great basketball. Unfortunately, Karan got hurt, coming into this trip, and it kind of hurt us right now.
How hard is it to see Carmelo going off on the other end, and you're over here in a suit?
It is hard, but, you got to respect the game. And, he's playing at a high level right now. That's why he's starting in the All-Star game now, and he's playing great basketball.
All right, thank you, Gilbert. Look for Gilbert to be back sometime around the beginning of March, Mike.
That'll be a huge boost to Washington. It was Arenas who last year had a 60-point game in L.A. on a Sunday night. Then the Nuggets, then the Wizards, I should say, came here to Denver to play, and Denver was able to win that game. But he was an all-star starter last year, Hubie. Like he said, Carmelo will be this year.
Well, it's interesting when you look at the season. When you say Washington started 0-5, they went 24-14. And that's why Butler and Jamison are in this All-Star game, because they could beat the good teams because of the defense that Butler was able to put on the high-scoring small forward. Now, once he goes out, if they lose this game, they will have lost 6 games in a row. And it's sad because in the in-between, 24 and 14, they were playing as well as anyone in the East, except Detroit and Boston and Orlando.
Right.
So you had to give them a lot of credit to get over the hump without Arenas, right? And then all of the other nagging injuries that they've had. So it's been very disheartening, and for them to have to go 3 more games on this trip, Mike, against some pretty heavyweights out here in the West, that's difficult.
Phoenix and Golden State. Canby is the block of Nick Young. Kept alive by Blatch. Slapped away by Martin. And they got Blatch's hand on the slap as well. And it's the last thing the Wizards need is somebody else getting shaken up. 2 to shoot. As Blatch tries to play through the pain of the slap by Martin. Nick Young got fouled by Linus Kleza with a toe on the line, so it'll be 2 free throws. John Goble, the first-year official with the call. If we go back to last year, this was a Washington team that ended up 41-41, but remember, Arenas and Butler get hurt at the end of the season. They go 3-8 the last month of the season. We saw a lot of those pictures. 2 guys wearing great suits on a regular basis, and then they end up getting swept in the opening round of the playoffs.
And that was difficult. And we all know that Cleveland, was able in the first 2 rounds to run into 2 teams that have major injuries.
Yes.
All right, and then they get into that 3rd round and do a miraculous job. I think that guy, what's his name? James. LeBron James. I think he had a good game one day.
I think he's still scoring.
I do believe so. All right, and then they march into the finals. But you're absolutely right about Washington. It's been very difficult for them because last year when you thought, hey, you know what, they were hot, and you thought that things maybe something could happen to them in that first round. Never materialized.
Another lob to Kenyon Martin, and this is looking like the Kenyon Martin we got used to seeing in New Jersey on the business end of a lot of Jason Kidd lobs. He has 16. Martin coming back from microfracture knee surgery that happened at the end of 06, missing essentially all, the beginning of 06, missing all of last year. Songaila was fouled.
Well, I think when you look at Martin, the fact that he played 42 minutes on Monday, then 43 on Wednesday, and you can see he's running and jumping, he's scoring double figures, he's more active, he's playing with a lot of confidence, and the big thing is the other players see it in him, and that's key.
Darius Songaila will come to the line. Songaila, one of 5 Wizards in double figures. He has 11. We'll get one more. Well, 1 week from tonight, the McDonald's NBA All-Star Celebrity Game starts. All-Star Weekend, 7 Eastern on ESPN. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Hubie, Rick Bucher is coaching one of the teams. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm telling you, Rick is very astute. He's going around. He's challenging anyone that can give him an X and O. But I want to know who is coaching the other team.
I don't know. Rick, do you know who's coaching the other team?
I do.
Who is?
Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, baby.
All right.
Canby trying to get to Nahara. It's turned. You'll both be wearing microphones, I understand. So good luck keeping up with Stephen A. Nick Young on the tape. And do you know anybody who's on your team, Rick?
I do.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders and Swin Cash, and we'll be playing those two in a pick and roll the entire game.
That's all right. Listen to this guy. I mean, I think this guy might be going to the lounge before the game.
Carmelo has 40, 16 and 20 from the field. A 40-point night for Melo. We still have a quarter to go. Basket knocked down by Dominic McGuire, the rookie out of Fresno State. It's points 31 and 32 on his rookie season for the Wizards' second-round pick of last year's draft. Plays a 3. A couple things to watch in the fourth quarter. Can Anthony get a 50-point game or get the NBA high for the season, 51? Also working toward a career high. And can Canby get a triple-double? He's got a chance. Marcus has 14 boards, 7 assists, 6 points. And George Karl says, give us one. As Anthony's watched by the rookie Pesharov. Nahara. End of the court. Washington got it down to 4. But a good pull away in 4 minutes to start the third. Got Denver up 17, and the Nuggets lead by 16 on Carmelo Anthony, perhaps best night in the NBA. He's got 40. His career high is 45.
All right, welcome back. Coach, explain the ebb and flow of this team. You guys came out roaring, stuttered. Now you're back roaring again. Why is that?
Well, I think it's a nature of the NBA somewhat, but our defense can be very good and also can be very ordinary, and our passing the same way. So 2 fundamentals, one at each end of the court. I think we're very explosive offensively, but at times we do have moments where we get frustrated with our shot selection.
What do you do to try to minimize that roller coaster?
Well, we have a lot of freedom in our offense. Sometimes you structure it a little bit more. Sometimes you just let them go and pray it works out.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Rick, and thanks to George Karl and Eddie Jordan for talking to us after the first and third. We begin the fourth with Denver up 16 here on NBA Friday. First game of our doubleheader without Kevin Garnett. Boston going back to Minnesota and winning at the buzzer on a Leon Poe putback of a Ray Allen miss, 88-86. Boston stays with the NBA's best record at 38-9. Canby tried to swat at it, got a piece of the rookie Nick Young, and picks up the foul.
I like the fact that Canby went after that. That was a very difficult try for a block. You know that for 3 straight years now, he gets at least over 3 blocks a game. And what he's trying for is to end up this year to have it 4 straight years. And he would tie a guy which is kind of interesting, Sean Bradley. And when you think about that, Bradley did it 5 straight years. So you like to see that. Now, remember, for all the old-timers out there, like myself, we did not have that stat when Wilt and Russell and a few other great shot blockers were playing their game.
You almost don't even want to give the record for block shots.
That's exactly right.
It's not really a record, but Canby 2 blocks tonight, 176 blocks on the season. It's the highest per-game block average since Alonzo Mourning in '99, averaged 3.9 blocks. Plays a miss. Songaila the rebound. Let me set the lineups for you. Roger Mason and Nick Young are out there for the Wizards, along with Dominic McGuire, another rookie, the rookie from Russia, Alexei Pesharov, and Songaila completing the 5.
Songaila and Young, Mike, are doing a great job. They both have 13 points, and unfortunately, they just can't get any help from anyone else with the second unit.
McGuire couldn't finish inside.
Nice.
Iverson's pass taken away by Mason. Good spot-up shooter looking to complete his game. Gets all the way there for 2.
Now, do the Washington Wizards have it in? We're looking for all these other things. Can't be getting a triple-double. Looking, for Anthony to get 50. The big thing is, can this young group make a serious run?
Like they did in this part of the first half.
That's exactly right.
This is the 2, and this is very similar. Chance to get it back down to 10 with this group of 3 rookies on the floor.
Sangai is doing a terrific job with this group. He's rebounding the basketball. He's scoring. He's doing all the heavy work.
Mason missed the 3. Marcus Camby gets the rebound. Give him 16 on the night. Camby has 2 career triple-doubles. Jason Kidd had another triple-double tonight. Iverson steps into 3 and he came up short.
There you go. Attack him in now.
Mason went right at Nahara. Couldn't make it. Last touch by Klesa. And stays down here with Washington.
Yeah, I was looking for a foul there. We had 2 referees there, Rodney Mott and also John Goble. But both guys had an angle on that. I thought that on that drive, you could have given a 2-shot foul.
Iverson takes his Anthony takes his 40 points to the bench. Anthony Carter returns. Speaking of point guards and the Nuggets, they're hoping to get Chucky Atkins back in the next month plus. Beautiful drop from Carter for Linus Klesa for the dunk.
I like what Anthony Carter is doing. Anthony Carter, he might have been out of the league and, playing CBA or what have you, but he's an established player in this league. He knows how to play with good players, and you can see his contribution is solid. He can score, and he can dish the ball.
George Karl says he might be the most improved player in the league this year.
Mark Jones in the studio with the SportsCenter 30 at 30 update, and former Mets attendant Kirk Rademski was sentenced Friday to 5 years probation after cooperating with baseball's investigation into performance-enhancing drugs. Meanwhile, Brian McNamee told congressional investigators Roger Clemens' wife took human growth hormone before she appeared with the pitcher in SI's swimsuit issue. McNamee testified that he injected her at Clemens' direction. SportsCenter coming up after the game. Mike, back to you.
Okay, Mark, thank you. That circus is going to have a lot of drama next week when everybody goes up to Capitol Hill for the Senate committee hearing. Denver leading by 14. Wizards inbound. We're talking about Anthony Carter is playing the point here. Rick Bucher, Anthony Carter was not really the plan at point guard when the season got started for Denver.
No, he was not. And the thing that we previously knew about Anthony Carter coming into this season was that he was the guy whose option was not exercised with Miami, which ended up costing him about $4 million and opened up the gap that ultimately allowed Miami to acquire Shaquille O'Neal. Now, what has not been covered since then is the fact that Bill Duffy, his agent, because it was an oversight not by him but someone in his company, has essentially paid back Carter all the money that oversight cost him. And as a result, Carter remains with BDA Sports to this day. Now, considering Carter's not much of a moneymaker, he could have easily walked away from that situation. The fact that he stood up, we don't often get to say good things about agents, but certainly in that case, Mike, you'd have to.
Yeah, Bill Duffy, a very prominent NBA agent, and it was just a paperwork situation, as you correctly said, Rick, that with somebody in the office, Mason hits the 3 to make it a 13-point game. Carter's an unbelievable story. His kid, when he was 11 in 1987, wrote a school project talking about his desire and dream as an 11-year-old in Atlanta to play in the NBA someday. He did not take care of business in the classroom as he whips it around to Klesa, who is short, and his possession kept alive by Denver, and then turned over. Here's Mason. This is attractive. Kickball. Finish the thought on Carter as Nick Young shake it up after that contact with Iverson. on the floor. Let's take a peek at it.
Yeah, they go knee to knee there.
Looks like both are going to stay in. So Carter lived in his home with 13 others. Mom had some drug issues, 7 different uncles who were incarcerated. So he didn't have a lot of strong role models around him. Still ended up finding a way, after dropping out of high school, to find the people around him to tell him to go get his GED and get back into basketball somehow, some way. He did. Spent a couple of years at a junior college, Saddleback College, and then ended up with his 2 years at Hawaii to finish his college days. And caught Pat Riley's eye in the summer league, and that was his ticket to the NBA, eventually ending up with Miami and San Antonio, Minnesota after the free agency mess up of the paperwork. And now here he is in Denver. Chucky Atkins was going to be the point guard. George Karl told us today he would be that. Carter was the 3rd point guard because he likes that 3 point guards playoff time. Came into the series against San Antonio, the clincher game 5 that Denver lost, and played well and earned a look for this season to be with Chucky Atkins as the 2 point guards. Atkins has been hurt the majority of the season. There's Chucky with groin and abdominal muscle problems and eventually had a surgery. He hopes to be back within the next month or so. Anthony Carter ended up being the point guard here, and after he missed the first 8 games with 12 games with a hand injury, he stabilized the point play.
Absolutely. And what you like about it, he's accepted the responsibility of leading a very, very explosive offensive team. They average over 106 points a game. Now, he just does his job. All right, he's getting 8 points a game. He gives you 6 assists. And most of all, he has the respect of the other guys out on the floor so that he can play off. He's been in the league 9 years.
Approaching the 7-minute mark, the lead is 13. Stevenson, Sangala, McGuire, Mason working it around this trip. Jamison couldn't get over to it. Iverson running to the right. Carter gets it to him. AI is 16 and 11 assists tonight. Usually when it's a double-double for Iverson with points and assists, that's been magic for the Nuggets. But Nahara's long ball has been off here the last couple of weeks, and Nahara and Kleza need to hit those shots for Denver when their opportunities come. Jamison rises up over the 6'2" Carter, and Antoine with 7-inch advantage will come to the line. A couple of team fouls on each side, and no player has more than 3 personals except for Marcus Camby, who has 4. The All-Star Jamison will get one more. You can go to NBA.com to learn the details of how you, the fan, can help determine this year's Slam Dunk champ at the 2008 All-Star Weekend in New Orleans. They dunk, you decide. The details are out there for you at NBA.com. Dwight Howard will be in the dunk. Gerald Green as well. Now with Minnesota. Rudy Gay of Memphis and Jamario Moon of Toronto will round out that foursome. 12-point game with 6 minutes left, so it's still in contact with some stops and scores. And Nick Young gets another one.
It's interesting because Denver, you're watching the coaching staff right now. They're still staying within their 8-man rotation.
Yes.
Their key guys are out on the floor. And this young group of kids right now, they're back within 10. So anything can happen. You got 5 minutes and 46 seconds. You're at home. You're trying to hammer home to your team. We need you to give us 48 minutes, not 36.
Dominic McGuire, the foul, and a timeout.
ESPN's presentation of NBA Friday, brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. And Taco Bell. Think outside the bun.
Nuggets lead by 10. Allen Iverson has been wearing a wireless mic tonight. Let's listen to the comments of the All-Star.
Hey, let me get that. Let me get that. Let me get that. Let me get that. Let me get it, Hayes. They're in the zone, MC. No damn man. Hit it, Ed.
Iverson with a 11 assist, 16-point night here in Denver.
Yeah, very quietly. You know, he's only attempted 8 shots in this game. He's moved the basketball extremely well.
Foul is called as Klaiser made the hard drive.
You can see in a short period of time, Klaiser can get shots up. He's a good three-point shooter, but what George Karl and the staff likes, the fact that they've got him to drive the ball strong to the basket. And you can see that this evening. Now, he's getting to the line more now. He's also getting good shot attempts because he's quick off the dribble.
One more for the Lithuanian-born Klaiser, and Rick has more on Linus.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of how much they value Klaiser these days, they have the opportunity to move Klaiser and Eduardo Nahara, who's just going off now, for Ron Artest, and they decided, you know what, we don't want to do that. As much as Artest might help them defensively, they love what Klaiser's giving him. He's a younger guy, obviously hasn't had as much trouble off the court. But that gives you a sense of just what his value is to them, Mike.
And the name doesn't have the value with a lot of fans, but more and more, like the 41-point game against Utah last month, people are realizing the value of Klaiser. Jamison inside, wanted to foul, didn't get it.
Also, 2 guys who play and play hard every night. Nahara is an intangible man. He's not going to give you the points, but he gives you everything else on the stat sheet. And then Klaiser can fill up the stat sheet from an offensive standpoint for you.
Anthony's back in with his 40 points. He's posting. 5 to shoot. Carter tees him up. 17 of 22 from the field. All 6 free throws. 3 shy of a career high. Well, Rick brought it up. It'll be interesting to see if Denver stands still or if they do look to make a move. As everybody in the West seems to have made their move. Klaiser with a hand on Jamison. You had Shaq to Phoenix. Damon Stoudemire to San Antonio. Gasol to the Lakers. Chris Webber going to Golden State. And even, let's not forget the Kyle Korver move to Utah. That's not as many people address as a big ad because his name not as big as the other guys. But you asked the Nuggets about the value of Kyle Korver and what he did. He was a key reason that Utah won in here on Wednesday night.
He stretches the defense. He makes you play honest. And the fact that he can shoot such a high percentage for you is outstanding, especially in the methodical way that Utah will run their offense when you get the playoff time.
Jamison with the hoop. You see Denver has been sharp tonight from the field, over 50% right from the beginning. Iverson's open on this side, tried to get it to Kenyon Martin, but it was off the leg of Nick Young. By the way, Hubie, Sacramento beat Utah tonight, 117-104. It was a 1-point Sacramento lead after 3. And the Kings pulled away to get that win in the 4th, so the Nuggets will have an opportunity to pull within a game of Utah in the Midwest Division.
Yeah, they'll be 23 and 25.
Sacramento.
Now think about that a second. We said earlier that they would be in the playoffs if we started today, if they were in the East. They are very quietly, since Martin has come back, Bibby is back. That team, they developed all those good young players, Garcia and Salmons, Udrith. They pick him up once Minnesota let him go. And I like what they've done there. Jeff Petrie's done an outstanding job with this team. They are a difficult out now. I don't care how good you are. Utah just 10-0 in their last 10 games going into Sacramento.
One more coming at the line for Klaiser. Denver, if they win this tonight, would be 30-19. Utah 32-19. It feels really early to start looking at these conference things, but
you're right.
The quality of the basketball is bringing you to it. You're just, wow, this is going to be some kind of 2 months. Jamison really struggling here tonight from the field, 7 of 17. And the coaches are looking at it, too, a bit differently. And George Karl mentioned that to us today. Iverson.
Everyone is saying now, in order to get in, is it possible that this year you might need 47 or 48 wins in the West in order to qualify? You know what? It's very possible.
45 is the record for the most wins.
Right.
And a team not making the playoffs as Jamison gets the hoop to make it 102-88. Deshaun Stevenson the assist.
Everyone wants him to shoot it. Everyone wants him to get 50 here tonight.
They missed it, and it was out of bounds off Carmelo. Well, Super Sunday on ESPN and ABC. Our coverage begins with the pregame at 12:30 on ABC. Then Spurs and Celtics in Boston. We'll be in Miami to see Kobe and the Lakers. And then on ESPN, 6:30 pregame before the Nuggets and Cavaliers. And we'll wrap it up with the Wizards taking on the Phoenix Suns. Deshaun Stevenson, the hoop, still in contact, although it doesn't feel like Washington's in it. 12 points with 3:05 to go. Plays a quick three, not the best shot.
We always talk about a stat in this league when you're talking about who are the really good teams. You look at their differential, how many points they score, how many points they give up. So if you have a differential of about 5, 6, 7, 8, and we all know that Boston is up around double figures, then what you are trying to do, you have an absolute chance of winning a championship. Well, Denver right now only has a plus 2.3.
Mark Jones with his KFC studio update. The Jazz in first place in the Northwest, taking on Sacramento. Jazz on a 10-game winning streak coming in, but no more, says Quincy Douby, who knocks down the three ball. If you like that one, you might like this one too. Douby spotting up and knocking down another one. Mike, all anyone wanted to talk about was Reggie Theus's curfew on the road, but he's done a great job. Got them 2 games under 500.
Yeah, that's what Hubie was talking about. What a job they've done. The young talent, add Quincy Douby to that. And look at the West. These are all up to date. Top to bottom, 5 games separating the top 8 teams in the Western Conference. You talk about nightmares for these coaches and general managers, because once the Lakers and Phoenix made these moves in San Antonio before, a lot of pressure on a lot of guys now.
Yeah, but the big thing is right now, if your team is playing well and you have depth, you have to always look at it and say, if we have an injury to one of our main 3 offensive guys, can the player from that second unit step up? In most cases, yes, he might not be able to score as many points, but now what you have to do is, who is moving up? Your 6th guy, your 7th guy, or your 8th guy? You have to have quality people if you're going to move through the playoffs. 6, 7, and 8. And if you think about it, the guys who win it for you are players 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. They get it done. Your 3 horses, they're going to score, they're going to rebound, they're going to play D, but then those other guys are the working bees that get it done.
It's good to watch when you look at rosters. Carmelo Anthony, the assist on the Anthony Carter hoop, and the foul is called here. That's the 3rd foul on the Nuggets. It'll be on Kenyon Martin. You watch this Denver team, and with Martin getting healthy and Camby in he's had an all-star first half defensively.
Yes, he has.
As you were saying today, so great. It's hard to have 3 all-stars off one team here when you only have a dozen on the roster. Latch the hoop. Then you add the 3rd and 4th leading scorers in the lead in Iverson and Carmelo Anthony. Hey, that's a 4 that can go with anybody else. So that really speaks to your point of guys 5 through 8 and what they do can be difference-making. Anthony is 44.
Mike, your point is well taken. Plus, they're looking for Nene and Atkins to come back in March. Now, if they can come back and contribute, now all of a sudden you are 10 deep with experienced guys who can rebound, defend, score the ball, and add it to your mix. So this team, when healthy, has a lot of talent. But we all know at playoff time, can you defend and rebound the ball?
Good for these fans. They want Anthony to get the career high. And he goes with a 3. 47 points. The best night in the terrific 5-year NBA career of Carmelo Anthony. Stevenson follow flush by McGuire, who has looked good. And now the fans want to take a 3 for 50. Blatch will defend him. Anthony watched Blatch play in high school, and the foul is going to bring Carmelo to the line for points 48 and 49. 19 of 25 from the field.
I was surprised that they fouled him, okay? I mean, you know, usually teams, they don't want you to get to 50, and they want to stop the people from going crazy. But by fouling him, you give him a chance for another quick two. And more important, the clock didn't move.
That's right. Well, he's going to get it back. He'll get a shot or a foul. He'll get a chance to get 50 points, which he's never had in an NBA game.
Yeah, he's been special. He's been special since the opening tap. The shooting percentage has been outstanding, and then it's been effortless, Mike. He hasn't forced anything. He's just stayed within the flow.
High in the NBA this year is 51, done by Iverson and LeBron James. Iverson did it against the Lakers in this building on December 5th. Stevenson the air ball, and loose ball foul on Kleza with 45 and a half to go. So you'll see Denver on ESPN on Sunday night in Cleveland, and they go to Miami and Orlando to wrap up the first half. And we mentioned Washington's tough road trip with Phoenix, Golden State, and the Clippers.
When I was coaching in New York, Knicks, I had a guy by the name of Bernard King.
He did 50 like you were sneezing.
He had 50 in San Antonio and 50 in Dallas against two of the best teams in the league.
Back-to-back nights.
I remember that. And it was so special for the player, but more important, the guys on the team. It was just electric on the bench and then after the game in the locker room.
The guy on the line, Jameson, had back-to-back 50-point games with Golden State. They double it to get it out of Melo's hands. They're trying to deny him the ball. He's got it up top here. The double comes. 9 to shoot. He's got it again. Goes around Black. It's an offensive foul. That's an offensive foul. Good call by Scott Foster as Carmelo hooked Andre Blatch on the sideline. I mentioned that Blatch went to high school in the same city where Carmelo had his 1 year at Syracuse, and Henniger High School, where Blatch played a couple of games at Manley Fieldhouse, the old place where Syracuse used to play basketball before the Carrier Dome. And Carmelo came to watch Blatch play. It was a big thing at that time. 3 seconds the difference in the clock, and the fans getting on the Wizards. Thunder dunk.
Oh, plenty of time here.
By Nick Young. That's Nick Young's career high, by the way. 19 points on the night.
When I saw you meet Carmelo Anthony tonight and do the interview and give him the secret Syracuse fraternity shake, I knew he was going to be on fire.
He's being double teamed here. They're not going to let him get 50. It's all academic. 49 career high for Carmelo Anthony tonight. One of the top games in the NBA this year for a score. 19 of 25 from the field. Denver moves to 30 and 19. More importantly, they are within a game of Utah for first in the Midwest Division. SportsCenter's coming up. Nuggets win by 11. We're over on ESPN News to wrap it up. With Hubie Brown and Rick Bucher, Mike Tirico. Thanks to our entire crew. We say so long from Denver. Remember, our Super Sunday on ABC starts at 12:30 Eastern before San Antonio, Boston. SportsCenter starts now.